Good day, this is E.T. We have to ask if there's a case to take the left and orthodox religion to court for abusing and denying the most fundamental right of humans, which is to question. A life lived in question is the quest for the Holy Grail. So we have to ask a series of questions to gain an understanding of what this concept is that says there's a case against the left that should be taken to the court of human rights and put them on trial for denying humanity its very basic intrinsic right. Who owns the subject of Islam? Who owns the subject of marriage? Why do gays and lesbians now own the subject of marriage? What gave them the idea they do? Who owns the subject of climate change? From what possible scientific perspective can any scientific subject be said to be controlled by any person or body of people? Who deems what is equal? How is equality measured? Honest individuals would claim no equality to any other and would rejoice in the differences. Surely we are measured by our differences rather than our equality, all being treated equally. To what standard exactly? What is the standard of equality that is required by the left that everyone should be treated by? How do you get to that standard? Who is responsible for the health system, the user or the system? In Australia or Britain, for instance, who causes the cost? What is the cost caused by? Too many people making themselves sick, or too many greedy people making themselves rich out of the sick? Is it not an equal equation that satisfies both sides? What causes mental illness, if not the emasculation of the self, stymied by the ego of others in a culture which ego is shunned unless the ego is authorized as politically correct and becomes a celebrity ego, then it can say whatever it likes. Who does own any subject? How can anyone own any subject? They can demand no one else dare say a word that differentiates from their opinion about that subject. When did it happen that suddenly someone came up with the idea a subject can be owned and no debate can be considered other than how to create the rhetoric to suit the agenda? Conclusions set in stone. Moses, a many-faceted prophet of empty rhetoric, masquerading as all-seeing, all-knowing, many-faced gods of the Hindus. Are all gods right after all? Or one man's God is another man's reason for righteous enmity? The question is, does God own man, or are men suggesting they own God? We have descended from the heights of free liberal society, social inquiry, to any word proclaimed as sacrosanct is owned by those who claim authority. In other words, we've regressed back to a dark and religious age. There is no enlightenment allowed anymore. What gave so many authority over subjects of science? All subjects are for scientific study. We need to get universities to explain themselves and tell us exactly, because it is an historically noteworthy. At what time in space did science become religion? Objective reason between peers deemed as dissent or insubordination to the authority? Why is questioning someone because it upsets their emotions? Why is that seen as slander or an insult or a threat? How is questioning someone's idea a threat to them? In what way does it threaten them? Can we have these things scientifically analysed so we can get some common sense back into the debate? Because it is historically the most significant event ever, we are end of a time, what was positive practical evolution that took human spirit along on an optimistic philosophy. But now we're regressing, now we're retarding the natural spark of questioning. We need to determine when in time was it deemed that our natural human instinct that made us human, that caused universes to be in the first place, to ask questions. When did the most human part of humanity become against some unwritten law? The left, as well as its ally Islam or any religion that denies evolution regardless of God, for no one owns a God, whether it exists or not is irrelevant. It is a claim of ownership of the knowledge of that is the cause of all human madness. To claim you own the knowledge and no one can deny your knowledge surely is the most frustrating event in history, and that frustration builds into society and causes a massive descent we see in the Middle East, which causes eternal wars. The left descends the West into an eternal war. It has no choice. We have to fight for what is human right and righteous to question. The left and all who deny human evolution, because a denier of questions or the right to question denies human evolution itself. It denies what a human is. All who deny human evolution, and the left denies human evolution, it doesn't believe in God, it says, but at the same time it denies human evolution by denying the right to question its authority. And that can be taken to the Court of Human Rights, and rightly should be, to protect humanity from the left for attempting to deny that which is intrinsically human. Natural instinct not to fear, because fear is within all life forms. Natural instinct is to question in humanity. It is uniquely human and possibly the rarest thing in the universe. To be able to question your surroundings, question your environment and change them is the most intrinsic part of being a human it could possibly be. And yet the left and many parts of Islam deny that is a right, demand you obey the authority of their word, whoever says that word is. Doesn't matter who that bloke is or woman is, you cannot argue with them, otherwise there's a fatwa by the left against you in the media, or religion Islam against you through their religious media, wherever. There's a fatwa against you if you question their authority on any particular subject they claim ownership of. Why is the left and many who are slaves to religion so against what is so rare and precious? Why do they hate humanity so much it would do this to it? What is it in the left that hates humanity so much that it's so nihilistic it would prevent the questioning of their authority or any idea? The left acts like orthodox religion and defines all logic through the spectrometer of the emotions of the collective. Who are the imams of the left? Please would they show themselves so we can question them. And this idea applies to the far right and the far left. Both are one and the same thing. We need to take the left to the Court of Human Rights and have it tried for being anti-human, to deny our right to question, but to deny the very basic premise of what being a human is. Therefore the left is against the human rights, and they can't deny it. It's self-evident.